I welcome our resource person Neeraj, the web team member of IEEE Young Professionals Kerala section. Welcome Neeraj. I also welcome you all to this section. Hope you have a wonderful and informative session ahead. So I think we can start our session, sir.
Thank you for that introduction, Gauri. I hope I'm audible.
Yes, you are.
Yeah. So, hi everyone. Just a small introduction about myself. I am associate software developer at UST. Also a freelance web developer, and I'm in the Kerala YP web team. So that's why I'm here to teach you something about web. So without much delay, let's get started. Can you please enable my screen sharing? The host, I think it's Srividya. Could you just enable my screen sharing privileges? Am I audible? Hello?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Yeah, whoever the host of the meeting is, I think it's Srividya. Could you just enable my privilege to share my screen? You can make me the co-host or transfer the host privileges to me. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so I hope my screen is visible. Guys, whenever you want to, I want this to be an interactive session instead of just a one-way conversation. So just go ahead and unmute yourself whenever you want to, you have a doubt or you want to ask anything, you go ahead and unmute yourself. Okay. Yeah, so I hope you can see my screen, right? No response.
Yeah, it's visible.
Yeah, okay, thank you. So let's see. So today we're going to be, looking into a bit of web development. So what are we going to do today? This is just a small plan for today. I'm just going to have a small interactive session with you on, where your web development skills are or where your current level knowledge is. We'll talk a bit about, front end and back end and see a bit of the code. Yeah, so that's pretty much about the plan for today. So yeah, just asking for the sake of it. So really, where are we? So what is your current knowledge of web development? I'm asking from common perspective, like the front end, back end. How good is it? Where are all of you? Hello. Is everyone taking the afternoon nap? Mm-hmm. So I won't get any response from you.
Hello, sir. Is it
Yeah.
audible?
Yeah, you're audible.
Yeah, so my name is Anjali, and I'm currently a fourth year student from RIT Kottayam. So I think I am an intermediate in front end, and I have not started studying back end yet, and I'm very interested in learning.
Okay. So I can take it that you are, a bit familiar with front end, at least HTML, right?
Yeah, sure.
Yes. So what about the rest of you? Come on, guys, just unmute yourself and, or should I, switch the language? What do you prefer? Malayala ano nallathu ado should I go with English? അതിന് ഉത്തരയില്ലേ പറയൂ.
English is fine.
English is fine. Okay, fine, great. So others, so where are we at the web development? So are you really, just starting out, or are you, familiar with a bit of HTML tags and all that? So where are we, guys? This is just to know, where we stand, so that I can, take it more effectively. Yeah, so can I presume everyone knows at least the basics of HTML? Yeah, okay, looks like I'm not going to be getting any much of a response from you guys. Okay, so let's, go ahead with the thing in mind that you know a bit of HTML. Stop me at any point if you don't understand anything. If you are, finding it tough to follow, please do inform, and I'll do what I can. So yeah. So what is this? What is this front end? What is this front end that we keep talking about? That is what we see, like the the feel of the particular website or web page or whatever we are going to be designing. That is what we call the front end, right? So what are the front end technologies that you guys are familiar with, or you guys know already? Guys, this has to be a two-way session, or else it's just gonna be a monotone of me, spouting out some things.
Sir,
Yeah.
so the front end languages that I have tried out is HTML.
Mm-hmm.
For styling, CSS,
Okay.
then a bit of JavaScript.
Okay, great. So anybody else working with any other stacks or technologies other than the, what we like to call the vanilla part of, the vanilla batch, or the vanilla frameworks? Other than that, any other frameworks, Angular, React, anything like that? Have you heard of all these, frameworks like Angular or React, anything? No? Okay, so anyway, uh, since nobody's responding, I take it there are lots of frameworks for front end. Just as our friend had described a bit back, we have the normal, the normal vanilla things like raw HTML. We have CSS styling and JavaScript for the look and feel of it. Okay, so we have that kind of frameworks, and then we have higher level things like React, with which we can implement a lot of web apps, not just websites. It's mostly native applications or web applications. So we have React, we have Angular, and there are lots of versions of it, and so on. That is what basically front end is. What we see and what we feel, what we interact with, what the user interacts with, is what we refer to as front end. So any web developers here, you've designed your own, maybe you have your own web pages, maybe freelancers, maybe like people who have just fiddled with it in your machine itself. Anyone here who's familiar with all those, any of those things?
Yeah, sir, I'm currently building a website.
Wow, that's totally great. Okay, so as if you would have done websites for any other people, or maybe clients, you would have gone through this kind of a situation. You make a very perfectly working website, and then not your client, or maybe whoever wants the website to be done, comes and tell you embed my Twitter feed. Okay, and that ruins the whole website thing. It's a secret war between the client and the developer. So you would have experienced a scenario if you have worked on websites for others or something like that. And then this is a question I told you I work as a freelancer, so I get this question almost like for every website I do, I get this question. मेरा website Google में कब आएगा? When will it become the first result? Okay, so the first thing they ask is that after I publish our website. Okay. So what people fail to understand is uh, the web development part, although things like SEO or search engine optimization can be included in it, it is not actually, explicitly included. So that is something we need to separately do if we are, if we want to make our website come on top of the Google results. We need to do something called as SEO. Yeah, so that is a bit of it. And the big hoax, right? The client tells you to do a small update, and then you say, you haven't done the update, and then just to buy time, you say, have you tried clearing your cache, opening it in incognito, all those things you say. So this is a, regular based excuse that we have. Okay. So yeah, uh, backend developers. So what is backend and what is all those things about? So we have the front end where we have all the views. We have how the page is looking or how that application is looking. We have the look and feel, and then we need to have the processing of the same behind the scenes, right? So when we say processing, what is that processing that we mean? The processing that I'm talking about is, say you have, let's say you have a registration form, okay? The form and all those things in which you enter your name, all those are front end. And all these names and all should be stored in a database, or it should be, made use, it should be processed, right? So that part is done in the backend. All the processing, all the logical things, and all those things that you do there or saving in the database, things like that goes to the backend. And you can see the meme explaining, backend developer doing CSS. Yeah. So, so coding pioneers in here must be, telling me to enough talk and show me the code. So basically, we have a lot of options to do backend. So since I am a humble Java developer, and Java requires a lot of training before I can start going to the basics, I'll be taking the PHP easy alternative. Okay, so but there is this common thing. So PHP day one and day one, at the end of the day you look like that. Yeah, so there is that thing, of course, when we do in PHP, because when we are following the normal raw PHP scripts, it is sometimes tough to log errors, tough to identify where things went wrong and all that. So yeah, right, enough talk, and let me show you what we are going to be working with. Okay. So first of all, I told you what the front end is, right? Maybe the look and feel, and what the back end is. So today we'll be mainly concentrating on the back end. Yeah. So let me just go ahead and close all these things. Okay. So let's work. For the first thing that we need is a runtime environment for this PHP. So we'll be doing it in PHP, right? I told you that. So the first thing that we would be needing is a runtime environment, or a server-like environment. So where do we get that? Where do we get that environment? So we have a lot of tools for that. We have something called as WAMP. We have something called as XAMPP. All these things, the PHP needs to be specific, an Apache environment. Okay, it requires an Apache environment to run in, and so a lot of packages like WAMP, XAMPP, and all these things are available. Okay, so you can use any of it. I prefer to use XAMPP because I've been using it for a long time. You can just go to apachefriends.org and you can go to download thing, and yeah, if you click on download, you can see according to your version, you can just download it, whether you want it to be 64-bit or 32-bit or whatever. You can download it from here. The installation is simple. No other configurations or anything is required in it. Okay, so once you have installed that, your Apache server or the XAMPP or WAMP, if you prefer WAMP. So once you do that, you'll have something called, wherever you install your particular server, you'll have a folder named as XAMPP. In that you will have the XAMPP start, XAMPP stop, and the control panel. I think somebody has Okay, it's fine. Okay, so we have these three things here. So just go to the exam control and you will get something like this. Okay, so just go ahead and start the Apache and MySQL, or as people do, some people prefer to call it MySQL. Okay, so just go ahead and start your Apache and MySQL, and you'll, if it is successfully started, it will show you the port and stuff like that. Okay, so now we have a server environment. And talking about server environment, why do we need the server environment? Like if you want to view an HTML page, yeah, I just someone was telling me that they had tried out and fiddled out with HTML a bit. So how do you view your HTML page in an on a browser? How do you see the output? 4:30, is it your sleep time?
How in the sense? Actually, I didn't get the question.
Okay, so how can you see, say you made some changes in your website, how can you see, say, a page called mypage.html? How can you see it? How will you able to see the output?
One of the browsers.
Yeah, you can just open it in a browser, right?
Yeah.
So let's say for for the time being, let me take one of my PHP files and let's see if we can open up that in the browser. Okay, so I have some of many things here. So yeah, this is a PHP file. So I'll just go ahead and open it up in the browser. This is how you view an HTML file, right? Yeah, so this is a problem. You just, you can just see the raw code there and you won't get any output for it. So that's the reason why we need an environment. Okay, I had to say that earlier, but I've left that out. Okay, so that's why you need an environment for your project or whatever. Okay, so for running PHP you need Apache, and for Apache you can install any of the servers like this your XAMPP or WAMP or anything that you prefer. Okay, so I'll be for today's demonstration I'll be taking this whole thing in XAMPP. Okay, yeah, and we'll be working with the database MySQL database. Okay, and this XAMPP and all has it has its module inbuilt, so you just need to start it up and you can use the PHP myadmin console as they call it. Okay, so you have your all the server environment stuff like that is ready. So how do you start working with? So first of all, I told you need to go to that particular XAMPP folder. In that XAMPP folder, there will be a folder called htdocs. Okay, htdocs. Once it is, you just need to go and paste a folder here. Let's say I'm going to make a folder called Venus, right? Okay, so I've made a folder here, and if you go ahead and type localhost slash Venus, and if you put your file there, it will take it as a PHP file and not a raw text, right? So we'll need to validate that, right? So let's check it out. I'm going to create a new file. I'm going to save it. Let's htdocs inside Venus. I'm going to say all files. I'm going to call this as let's say test.php. Okay, call that and just there's a for we have the print commands in all the languages, right? You don't need to be a PHP whiz or anything to understand PHP. It is very easy. So you can just go along with it. It's very easy. So the print command in PHP is echo, 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 inside double quotes or single quotes or whatever you prefer. You need to start everything in PHP will be inside a PHP tag, or this is how a PHP tag looks like. So everything should be inside this. Okay, so if you go ahead and print here echo and say hello world, we're not going to be doing hello world programs. This is just for sake of demonstration. Okay, let's see if this works. If I open it in, normally when I opened earlier it just came out as plain text, right? So let's see how this comes out. Venus, I saved it inside Venus folder. So slash test.php. Yeah. we didn't get the code, instead we got the output, right? So yeah, this is why we need the environment, or that environment which I just told you about. Okay, yeah, with that being said, let us I'm not going to bore you with all the hello world stuff, or how to add two numbers and all that. I'm just going to teach you what you need to develop a website. Okay, so not develop a website, web app actually. If you have any doubt, go ahead and stop me at any point. Okay. Okay, so we have our something called, I told you we have this MySQL, right? We are going to be using the MySQL database, and we are going to be connecting to it and all that, right? So let's see how that MySQL actually looks. You can open your that MySQL console or the PHP MyAdmin in two ways. You can go here and click on admin, or you can go to a browser. Once this is started, then you can go to your browser, you can click on localhost / php myadmin, and something like this will appear. Okay, so you can, this is how the console for your MySQL console looks like. Okay, so you can here, all these things that are listed are your databases. Okay, I'm going to create a new database. Let's call it as Venus, right? And just click on create. Yeah, so I'm going to say how many columns I'm going to need for, I have a small a small thing in mind which I hope to finish after the session. So let's say for the time being, let's go with 4 columns itself, right? So I'm going to create, the database is created, but there are no tables. I hope you know the concept of databases and tables, right? So I'm going to go ahead and create a table called messages. Okay, and I'm going to click on go, and yeah, it gave me 4 columns, and I need to specify which all columns I'm going to be using and all that. Okay, so I'm just going to put, this is just random stuff. It's not that you need to be aware of it. It's just SQL stuff. I think all of you might be aware of it, but I'm just saying it for the sake of doing it. So we have a feature called auto increment. Every time a value is inserted into the database, this particular value will increment itself by 1 and insert it. So that's thing called auto increment. You just need to click that checkbox here, and it will automatically become auto increment. And then I'm going to say let's say name, and the type would be Vakyar. Let's give a 150 here. This is the limit for the values, so the length of the values. And I'm going to say email. Let's again keep it as Vakyar, and let's give it as 150. And let's create another column called message, and I'm going to call it Vakyar. I'm going to make it a type as Vakyar, and say maybe some 250. And then you have the click on save, and as you can see, yeah, your table has been created. It has 4 columns: ID, name, email, and message. Okay, so guys, are we good with this? Are you guys following me? Is there any gap between what I'm saying and something like that?
No, sir, it's perfect.
Okay, yeah, so I've just created the database. So we need we are using this PHP to connect this database and our application and do all the processing, right? So how do we connect to our database actually? So I'm going to take this particular connectdb.php file I made, and I'm going to write some PHP code here. So this is the basic syntax. For every PHP, you need something like this. The angled braces, and then you need a question mark PHP, and you end it like this also. Okay, so instead of using the classic things, we'll use an object-oriented approach, to connect to the database. Don't worry, it's not a big thing and all. It's very simple only. So let's get started. So I'm going to call my, the variable which I'm going to be using as PDO. Okay, PHP also calls it PDO. The full form of PDO is PHP data object. Okay. So PHP data object, I'll just show you how we can create a PHP data object. every single variable in PHP is created like this. $A, you can call it $A and say 15, and the value, sorry, it's 13. The value 13 will be assigned to the variable $A. We have that thing in, you know, the in C and C++, we create int A, int B. In Java, we create, you know, string A, string B, things like that, right? So variables, here it is, we don't specify the data type. We can specify the data type, but we don't usually. And you can just write in dollar some variable name, and yeah, you can assign the variable to it. So my variable would be called as PDO. $PDO is equal to, I'm going to create the PHP data object. So this is how you create a PHP data object, and inside that, inside single quotes, you'll need, we are using the MySQL database, right? So I'm going to write MySQL and then colon. I need to specify the host. Okay, so what is this host actually? Host means nothing but the server that you are working on, right? So it can be a URL or anything of that sort. So I'm going to connect to the you know, I'm actually going to connect to the local host. So this particular database, this thing that we see here is inside my system, right? Local host. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to specify the host as localhost. If you have a database on a particular server, you need to specify that IP of the server. It will look something like 152.124. Something like that. Okay, sorry, it won't look at 152, 51.2, something like that, right? It will be an IP. So for now, I'm going to specify localhost, and then I'm going to give a semicolon, and then I need to specify the database name. That is specified like this: db name equal to, and then you just specify the database name. In our case, if you see right here, our db name is Venus, so I'm going to say db name equal to Venus, and then again we will close that single quotes, and you need to put a comma. So you have specified all the database details here. Now you need to specify the username and password. Okay, during the installation of PHP MyAdmin, it won't ask you any username or password or anything. By default, you can create users, of course, but other than that, by default, the username and password is like this. Username will be root, ROOT, and the password will be just, you know, open close of nothing. The password is nothing. That's why just showing us an open and close of single quotes. Okay, so now we have our PHP data object. Okay, so imagine a scenario where something goes wrong, and you don't like you specified the database name wrong, you gave the username wrong, something happened, and you don't get a proper error message. Okay, so for that reason, we are going to put it inside a try catch block. It is not necessary that you put it. I'm just saying because it is, you know, a good practice. Okay, so I'm going to put it inside a try catch block, and I'm going to say try, and let's put this thing inside a try, and then I'm going to catch. The only exception that might be thrown here is the PDO exception. Okay, so PDO exception, and as always, this is how you declare a variable in PHP and all. So I'm going to say $ex, and yeah, okay, and inside this I'm going to say $ex get message. Okay, so we have our you know, connect db code written here, but we don't have any message or anything saying that the connection has been successful, right? So I'm going to just you know, specify echo and connection successful. I'm going to say connection successful. Okay, so if our connection is successful, if I try to access this file, I'll get a message called connection successful. Else I'll get, you know, this particular error message, whatever that it is being thrown here. So let's try out. Okay, so localhost inside a folder called Venus, and connect db.php, right? Yeah, so my connection is successful, and I got the success message. So yeah, the basic part, we have established a connection to the database. Okay, is everything clear up until this point? Any doubts, anything you have, guys? Anything, even about SQL or what I did here, or what to set try, what to set catch, and all those things? Any doubts up until this point, guys?
Sir,
Yeah.
what if the catch section gets executed? What message?
What will happen? Huh? Okay, so if the cat section will get executed, let's see what we will get, right? Yeah. Okay, I'm actually not echoing this thing. Let's see what happens if I echo it. Yeah. Did you get why we are actually catching that exception here?
Yeah, because the spelling
Yeah.
is wrong.
Yeah, we need to know what went wrong, right?
Yeah, yeah.
The error I did was I didn't actually print that message. I thought it was in the get message thing. Okay, so we need to know what kind of an error went wrong. This is a big big problem in PHP. We don't know what went wrong, so we need to do stuff like this so that we can have a proper error reporting, right? So that is why we have the cat section, and that is what happens if it gets into the cat section. Yeah. Any other doubts? Anything? No, no doubts. Are we good to go? Shall I proceed? Yeah, we good to go? Guys, come on, give me some kind of response.
Sir, I guess
Okay.
it's clear.
Okay, if anyone has any doubt, no issues, go ahead and stop me, ask me about, even if that is about the SQL part or about what I'm doing here and all those things. You can easily go ahead and ask. There is nothing stopping you from doing so. Okay. Yeah, so we have successfully established a connection here. So I'm going to tell you what our purpose today is going to be, what we are going to do in PHP. Okay, so we have lots of we have lots of options. We have lots of things. We can actually even create web apps with PHP. Okay, web applications with PHP without any frameworks. Okay, there are lots of frameworks like Laravel or Code Igniter, which uses a lot of other things. Okay, so even with raw PHP, we can do a lot. So there are four things. I think that is four. I think it is four things that we usually have that plays a major role in an application. That is what we call as the CRUD operations. Okay, CRUD means nothing, just the database operations that you already know: insert, update, retrieve, and all those things, delete, and all those things, right? Those are the only operations that actually happens in the application. So if you know to do an insertion, how to display from the database, how to update a value and how to delete a value, you pretty much know most of the things. Okay, the other part is UI. So if you know to do these things, you can achieve a lot. So what today what we are going to be doing is we'll actually have a small form. Okay, when I say form, am I being being clear? You understand what a form is, right? A normal registration kind of form. Okay, so it will have I'm going to say three fields: one called a name field, an email field, and a message field. Okay, so these three fields are going to be, on a button click, they are going to be stored inside this particular database which we created as a database. Yeah, this database that we created. Okay, messages. So as you can see, it is null. So there is going to be an insertion into the table, and then we are going to create a code to retrieve all the data from this database and display it. Okay, and we are not going to be, just simply putting in without any styles or things like that. I'll, try to keep it maximum with styled and, things I found. Okay, so stop me at any time you don't understand anything. Okay, yeah, so I'm gonna go with the forms things now. Okay, so I have this form. Okay, imagine a scenario where you need to create a registration form. Okay, you need a registration form. So what do? You just go to Google and just search for free HTML. Uh, what to say? Registration or no, registration forms, form templates. That's all. Yeah. Okay, you have a lot of things here. The things that are free are from W3 schools. Almost everything is free. ColorLib, if you register, it is free. So you will have a lot of options here. Let me, show you that. Yeah. See, you have a lot of forms here, right? These are all, you can just get its code for free, most of it at least. Okay. So this in this and all the CSS and HTML is mixed. We can have I have already some templates downloaded. Let's look at color libs for a change. Okay, so we have a lot of forms here, right? These forms are all attractive, right? I'll preview one of these forms. Yeah, it's nice, right? Okay, so we'll take one of these forms, and I've already downloaded one and kept here. So we'll work on these. Okay. Yeah. So let's see. Yeah, this is a particular form I have in mind. So I'm gonna put this particular thing inside our Venus folder. Everything should be here because yeah, then only the server will recognize PHP files, right? I'm gonna call this folder uh, maybe insert. Okay, insert, and then I'm gonna paste all those code here. I'll just show you how that actually looks. Okay. This is how it actually looks right now. Okay, I got it from the internet. I didn't do any changes, nothing I did. Okay, I'm taking it as it is. Yeah, just downloaded the template, extracted it, and then you'll have all these files. Okay, and I'm just copying and pasting that. That's all. Okay, so this is how actually my form right now looks like. Okay, so I'm gonna come up here in my editor. You can use any editors. Okay, it's not that you can usually VS Code. I prefer VS Code. Okay, so I'm going to open this particular HTML file, right? This HTML file in here. The problem is we cannot write PHP code in HTML, a file that is .html. We need .php file. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new file. I'm going to save it, and I'm going to call it as, make sure you select all files. If it is set to plain text, it will append .txt. So I'm going to say index. Okay, there is this one trick. Okay, whatever if you name your file index.php, that file will be taken as default by the server. Okay, when I say as default, if you right now go into localhost slash venus venus slash what is insert, and just put slash there, and you don't specify the file name, it will give you the default index.html file there. Right now the index.html file is here, right? It gives you that file, so you don't need to specify that. That's why I I'm planning to name it as index.php. Okay, so I'm going to take all that HTML code. I'm going to not change anything. I'm going to copy that. I'm going to paste it here. Okay, I'm going to save it. So the first thing I need is I need a connection to the the database. So since I'm a lazy person, and it's a good practice to not repeat code, you should not repeat the code again and again. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come out here. I have this connect db thing, right? So I'm going to come in here and paste it here, and I'm going to reuse this file. Okay. So let's go to my editor, and as always, you can write PHP anywhere inside the HTML, in between the HTML, before, after, anything is fine in case of PHP. Okay, so I'm going to come up here, and yeah, I'm going to say PHP, and then I'm going to say I need that connection to the database, right? So I'm going to say include, I think it was, yeah, include once, and then you inside single quotes you specify the file name. In our case, it is connectdb.php. So I'm going to say connectdb.php. So yep, the file has been included, And let's check it out if anything is wrong. Index, yeah, it will only call the PHP file. Okay, so we have this message here. So yeah, let's comment that out in a file. Okay, yeah, we have this one. I just put it for testing purpose. Yeah, so I've commented that out. Now let's see. Yeah, okay, that thing is not coming. Great. So we have our index.php file here. So what we need to do is we are going to what we are going to do here is we are going to get this data that I enter here, and I'm going to send this to the database. That is my purpose. So I'm going to come here, look at the code. I hope you know the bit of HTML. That's why I was asking you how good is your HTML knowledge. So we have this input, right? This input tag, that's where those the name and all those things come in. The one tag that is important for us is the name tag, okay, the name attribute. So the name attribute, we can access the value of that particular of that particular field using the name attribute. Okay, so we need this name. The first field is the name field, so it is named as name. Second field is email. You can name it as anything you want, A, B, C, anything, but following perfect names would be easy. Okay, and then we have the message, the text area, the big message area, and its name is also message. Okay, so what we do is, once a button is clicked, we need a post. There are two types of requests. There is get request and there is post request. So we are going to need a get or post or whatever request. If it is a get request, it gets sent in the URL. Okay, I think you might have already seen it in many websites and all. It comes like something called question mark HID equal to ABC. Something like I'm typing in the browser. Yeah. So these kinds of things are usually there when you send a get request. So when you send a get request, the whole thing is in the URL. Okay. So when you send a post request, it is not in the URL, but it is sent in the headers. Okay, so it is in the headers. So let's see how we can do that. We have a superior tag called form. Okay, a bit of people knowing the HTML would know we always place forms inside a tag called form. Okay, inside the form tag we need to add an attribute called method. Okay, you just add method equal to, and we will say, let's give it post. Okay, we are going to send a post message, and then we need one more thing. We have this button, right? But we need something to tell us that this button has been clicked, and you need to execute our PHP code. So I'm going to specify a name for this button also. This is that button code. So I'm going to say name equal to, inside double quotes I'm going to say sub-btn, short for submit button. Okay, I'm going to say this, and okay, so we have that button here. And then what I'm going to do is, we have the names, everything here, right? Okay, so how do we get a value that is in HTML inside PHP? Okay, there is a simple method called $_post, and then you specify that name that you specified here inside single quotes, and then you'll get the value. I'll show you how it is done. Okay, I'm gonna, let's do it here itself. Okay, $_. I'll show you. Let's store it inside the variable name. It's not necessary that you give it name. I just put it as name for uniformity. You can give any name as you please, A, B, C, but following a naming convention is always good. So $_post, and then inside single quotes you give a name. So what this will do is, if a particular post request comes, name will be saved inside this $name variable. Okay, and since I'm a lazy person, I'm just gonna copy paste. We have three values, right? So I'm gonna copy paste all this, and second one is email. And this, did you understand what this name in single quotes is, guys? Guys,
That attribute. in the input.
This name attribute is what you specify here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Okay. So for each we have for email we have email and then message. It's not necessary that this and this should be same. You can give it any name. I'm just keeping it for uniformity's sake. Yeah. Okay. So we have all those things captured here. But imagine a scenario every time this thing comes and calls $_name. If there is no post request, you'll get an error probably, right? So how do we fix that? So fortunately, PHP has a method called isSet. IsSet. So what isSet does is that it checks if a particular button or a field is set. Okay, it has value or it has been clicked. You can take it in that sense. You can simply invoke it by saying isSet, and then inside brackets, you can give the name of that particular field. So I'll be giving $_post and then inside square brackets and single quotes, we need to check if this particular button has been clicked, right? So I'm going to copy this particular name here and I'm going to put it up here. Where is it? Okay, here. Okay, so yeah, only this code will only be invoked if that button is clicked. Okay, right? Yeah. So it will only we got all those values. Now what to do? We have the data object from this, from this code, right? It says PDO. So we have that PDO also. We have the connection variable there, and we have the data here. So we just need to write query now. Okay. So how do we do it? So I'm going to call that our PDO, our good old PDO. I'm going to say $PDO equals. No, is it $PDO equals? Okay. So I'm going to say $PDO, and we have a method called prepare in PDO. Okay. Prepare. What prepare does is it actually lets us, write the query that we need to execute in the SQL database. Okay. So in this case, what are we going to do? We are going to do an insert, insert operation, right? We're going to insert this data into the database. So what is the query for insert? CS guys? Anyone? What's the insert query?
Insert into table name.
Yeah, same thing. You just type in insert into table name. In our case, let's see what table name was. I forgot. Okay. Uh, Sorry. Okay. This thing is annoying. Okay. Yeah. So our database name is Venus and our table name is messages, right? So I'm going to come up here and insert into messages. And then I'm going to say which all column I need to, insert. So we need to, in this we have, how many columns do we have? Okay. We have 4 columns. I told you ID is an auto increment thing. Every time you insert a value, it will automatically, the database automatically will increment that value. So you don't need to do anything. The name, email, and message you need to provide. So I'm going to say insert into messages, name, comma, email, comma, messages. Okay. And I'm going to say values and side parenthesis. I'm going to specify the values. Okay. So guys, have you ever heard about a term called SQL injection? Have you? Yeah.
Just heard, but not familiar with the same.
Okay. So basically the SQL injection, from our perspective is like, we have fields, right? We have text fields like this in our, we will have that in our, HTML code, right? If a particular attacker, writes query inside this, okay, writes query inside a particular field, let's say instead of email, he just, if you have front-end validations, it won't happen. But then again, he can write, something like insert into, insert or, select star from or whatever. He can write a query and, maybe get the details, right? So if we do a particular tweaking here, we can avoid that to a particular extent. Okay, I'll show you how. So we are going to, instead of directly specifying, we can directly specify the name, email, message, everything here, dollar name, dollar email, dollar message. Instead of that, we are going to do something called as placeholders. We are going to use placeholders, and then we are going to bind that placeholder. Okay. So I'm going to say you can give any name, any variable name, anything. You can give W, you can give anything you can give, but it should be the same that you are binding. We'll see that in the later steps. Okay. So you can provide any value, okay, any name, anything, just like providing a variable name, colon, and then I'm going to say name. Okay. I'm just keeping everything uniform. You can give any name here. Okay. Comma, colon, I'm going to say email, comma, I'm going to say colon messages. Okay. And then I'm going to go to semicolon, and that's the end of my query. And the next thing is I need to bind this particular query with my, I've just provided column name, column email. This means it is a placeholder. Okay. And it does not have any value, so I need to bind this value to this placeholder. For that I need a variable to store it in. So I'm going to say dollar, we are doing an insert query, so I'm going to name it as insert. You can name it anything you like. I just named it like this, dollar insert, and then you can do something like insert and hyphen greater than symbol, and you have a method called bind param. Okay, bind, param, sorry, the p is caps, bind param, and inside parenthesis, inside single quotes you specify colon name, comma, the value. Okay, so name should be binded, this particular value should be replaced by this variable. That is what this bind param means. Okay, are we clear with the bind param? Is there any doubts, guys?
Sir, can you just explain it once more?
Okay, sure. Okay, so we have this, I told you about the SQL injection. A particular person can specify or give query instead of giving a valid data inside a data field. Okay, something instead of name, he can specify select star from something, or if he knows the table name, that is. Okay, so to avoid that to an extent, we can do something like, instead, yeah, this is a normal query, right? We can simply put dollar name here. Okay, dollar name, dollar email, dollar messages, everything we can do, but we are not doing, because to avoid SQL injection. Okay, and we are going to place placeholders there. Okay, this is just going to serve as a temporary variable, something like that. Okay, and then we are going to bind this thing to that variable. Okay, when this happens, usually the straightforward SQL injections don't happen. Is it clear, or do you need any further explanation? It's fine if you didn't understand this. Not so easy.
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay. Okay, so I'm going to bind all those values to the correct variables. Okay, so it has been, all the binding, everything has been done. Now we need to execute the query, right? So we have a method called execute. Everything is inside insert, so I will say execute. Okay, so once this execute has been done, the value will be inserted. Okay, so that's that. Let's see if our whole code works, right? Yeah, I'm gonna sorry, how do you send this thing up? Okay, yeah, great. Okay, so I'm gonna say test user, and my email is going to be, anything is fine, right? Okay, this is my message. Okay, let's click on send message and see what happens. Yeah, we got an exception. Yeah, unknown messages in field list, blah blah blah, and it says it is in PHP line number 13. Okay, this is because we got this error because we correctly printed the stack trace. It is on line number 13, that we understood, right? So line number 13, it is saying messages. What is wrong here? Anybody find anything wrong here? Line number 13 is execute. Oh, anything could have gone wrong. Okay. name, email. Okay, I think I got it. We have this. Okay, you know what? Did you get the mistake which we did, guys?
Yeah, we wrote messages instead of message.
Yes. Yeah, this is the thing that we did wrong here. Okay, here anything is fine. Okay, this it was trying to insert into a field, it didn't have. Okay, so this is fine because this is just a placeholder. You can put A here, B here, D here, it won't matter. But this is what was the error there. Let's try again now. Gonna have a tough time this thing. Okay, yeah, where is it? Okay, sorry. Yeah, let's check again. Okay, it didn't give us any message or anything, so probably it must have been inserted. Let's see. Yeah, can you see this insertion that has been made? The ID was automatically generated. We didn't specify any ID or anything there, right? It was automatically populated.
Sir,
Yeah, what happened?
the screen sharing has stopped.
Okay. Sorry. Oh yeah. Okay. Can you? Are you able to see it now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so the value has been successfully inserted. We did not specify the ID here, right? We did not, in our code, we did not specify that ID anywhere, but it has been auto-generated. That AI did. AI does the auto increment feature does. So it automatically increments the value. Next time you put in a value, it will automatically put the ID as 2 and whatever value we specify. Okay, so we have successfully did the sorry. Okay, we have successfully did the insert part of it. So we'll be going into the view part of the code next. Okay, so speaking about view, so instead of just, we have inserted all these things, right? Let's print these things as a stylish list. Okay, let's insert one more value, say okay, second user, and let's have another email ID, this another message. Okay, let's see if it has been reflected. Yeah, as you can see, the ID has been generated, the second user, everything has been is working perfectly, the insert is working perfectly, right? So we'll do something, we'll create something similar to this, a table to display all these messages and all those things. So for that we again need a template. I have something ready. You just need to go to Google and search for it. You'll easily get a template. Okay, so I'm going to take this. I'm going to I'm going to come back to my that htdocs folder. I'm going to create a new folder called view, and inside that why I'm keeping separate folders for one function and separate folder for other function is because we have css, js and all those things, right? Like every template has a different one, so if you are using the same thing, it's fine. Since it is different, that's why I'm using two different folders and all those things. Okay, yeah, so we have this particular view. Let's see how it actually looks like. Okay, it actually looks like this. Okay, it will be displayed as a table like this. It's gonna look nice, right? Okay, so how can we manipulate this? We only need 3 headings, right? We only need 3 headings, and let's just go out and change all the other things. Okay, so I'm gonna we can work on a HTML file. We will need a PHP file, so I'm gonna come up with new thing and put it here, and I'm gonna copy this. I'm gonna paste it here, and I'm gonna save it, and I'm gonna call it index.html again. Sorry, index.php again. Okay, so as I mentioned, we don't need all these columns, right? We just need 3 of them. So I'm going to keep 3, and you guys know HTML, and that being the the pre-requirement. I'll just go ahead and delete these things, and we just need one row for reference. I'll just things, 3 values, and I'm going to remove all other rows from there. Okay, it is just hard-coded values in that HTML, so I'm going to just go ahead and remove all those rows. Okay, so let's see how it actually looks right now. Backspace. Yep. Okay, that didn't quite work out. Why? Index PHP. Oh, it did not recognize me. Oh, got it. Okay, let's see. Index dot PHP. It got confused when it saw 2 index files. Okay, that is. I haven't seen that in quite a while. Okay, let's see what happened. It's a PHP file, right? Something went wrong. Let's see. Yes, you. Okay, it is showing me the file view. Okay, got it. Localhost. Venus view slash. Okay, as you can see, yeah, we have we have actually rearranged the data a bit. I changed into 3 topics, and this 3 data. I mean, just a single a row. And now we are going to do our thing. So let's say first is going to be name, second is going to be the email, and the third one is going to be the message. Okay, so so we need to specify, now we need to do actually the view coding part of the thing, right? So first of all, anyway, we need that PHP data object. So I'm going to copy that. You usually don't create replicates of files. Instead, you just have the path reference. Since I'm lazy, I'm going to just copy it. Okay, so just come up here and PHP, and then you say this is this and this is okay, and then the same procedure. Let's copy it from here. Do it again and again, right? Yep. So I'm going to paste it here. What happened? Oh, 2 PHPs. Okay. Yeah, so we have the connection right here. So next what I'm going to do is, unlike the insert query, this is this is going to be how can we fetch the data from the database? What is the query that we use to fetch data from the database? Hello, is everyone sleeping?
To select.
Yeah, we usually use the select query. So the select query is something. Okay, so we can start the select query. Say let's start it here something. Okay, so you can start the PHP code. It's an like embedding thing, embedded language. So you can start the PHP part of the code anywhere inside your HTML. There is no issues. It will work just fine. Okay, you can have multiple tags also. That's also not an issue. I'm going to say $PDO, and what is the function that we use? Prepare, right? Prepare, and then inside double quotes I'm going to say select. I need all the data from that particular table, right? Select star from messages. Okay, so select star from messages, and it will give me all the messages from that table. So I'm going to store that in a particular select variable. Okay, select equal to. So I have all those things inside my select variable, right? And now I need to execute it. Dollar. How do you execute a statement? Select, and we say execute. Okay. Yeah, so once this has been executed, we will get that data, but we'll need to store it somewhere and lots of other things, right? So for that, we have something called as fetch PDO. I'll show you how it works. Okay. Yeah, So I'm going to keep it inside a variable dollar row. I'm going to call it as a row because, you know, we need to, there might be n objects, right? There might be n objects. So I need to store each, you know, I need to have a loop and I need to store each particular thing in that, you know, variable. So I'm going to say row, and I'll say equal to, you can specify any variable. This is just a variable name I gave, dollar, and then I'm going to say dollar select, and then our this is not something we have used yet. We have we have a function called fetch, and inside fetch we use our PDO you know, capabilities. We call the PDO constructor, and we have a double colon, and then we say we have lots of options to fetch the object. We can fetch the object as an object itself. We can fetch just its associates. If you just when I say associates, if you have only one row of data, you will go for a fetch associate function. If you have, you know, lots and lots chunks of data, you will go for fetch object. So I'm going to go for fetch object, fetch underscore obj is a short form for it. And okay, we have all those things, but we need a loop, right? If we do it like this, maybe all the things will come true, only one particular thing will come true, and that will, it will print only a single row. So we need a loop, and that loop needs to keep printing this thing, right? This HTML part. So for that, I'm going to, you know, put this whole thing inside. So row will always have the value, right? The second row stops having a value, the loop should break. So I'm going to put a while loop here. Sorry, I'm going to put a while loop right here, and I'm going to open close it. And what should I write inside here? So the row will have that, you know, we have, let's see, okay. So the row will have, at a time, the row will have the data of a single row. Okay, that is why I named it as row. So the row will have, at a time, it will have the data of a single row. So we can access all those things, right? So we can print those details here. So I'm going to take this whole code, and I'm going to say inside this echo, we can echo HTML inside the PHP. That's how you bring, you know, the what to say, HTML inside the PHP. Pardon, was anyone saying something? Okay, must be nice. Okay, then we have these three fields, right? We need to put the values there. So how to do that? When you are using this row thing, this is a syntax to do it. This is inside the single quote, so you will need to, you know, start and close the single quotes, and using dot you can join. It's the simple concatenation operation, right? We can join two strings in Java and all. We have those things, right? So in PHP, dot is the concatenation operator, and I will say dollar row, and in hyphen, not the array, inside the hyphen thing, I'll say name and another dot. Okay, this is how you take a value. This where this name came from is from the database. You should use whatever name that is there in the database. If it is ID, give it as ID. It is name, give it as name, email, whatever. Not this variable name or anything. It is the name inside the you know, name of the column, okay, in the database, right? So I'm just going to copy paste these things into these. Okay, yeah, I'm going to copy paste this. Instead of this name, we have the email, and oops, sorry, okay, and I'm going to say we have this message, right? I'm going to say G. Okay, so we have that, sorry, yeah, so it is message, right? Not message. Yeah. Okay, so message. Okay, all those things are done, and we are closing that thing here. Everything should work fine, right? So. Yeah, let's see if it is working fine. Yeah, we have the error here at line number some 53. You cannot do that. They're saying I cannot open it up here and close it up here. Yeah, what I missed was a semicolon. Okay, after the after I closed the single quotes, I didn't put a semicolon, so that's why it was complaining. Let's see now. Yeah, connection successful. Oh, that particular thing is not commented out. I forgot to. So as you can see, this is fetched from the database, right? Let's see. Yeah, these two data. Let's try inserting one, and maybe. Sorry. My screen sharing stopped here, right? Okay, so this data is directly being fetched from the database and it is being displayed here. Do you have any doubts up until now? Is everything clear? Sorry, guys.
Yes, sir. It is clear.
Okay, so this is basically how you do the insert operation and the select operation. This is pretty much what I some of the things that I had in mind. Up until this point, please do ask me, because I'm going to go into a bit of hosting and all those things where you can actually utilize yourself. You know how to do HTML, but you don't know where to host it, how to make it available on the net. If you don't know that, there is no point in learning, right? So I'm going to go into that. Before I go into that, is there anything you want to clarify from up until this point? Okay, yeah, so I think there is everyone is clear or busy with other things. Okay, anyway, so let's get to the next point. Okay, so a small piece of advice from me: when I wrote code, when I just want to just be done with that feature, I usually drag and drop everything, maybe carelessly write everything without following the coding standards and all. And then when I 3 months after that, when I come back and read it, this is what I feel like, seriously. Because so when we are doing the backend code, do it in a very orderly and arranged manner, so that you don't feel the same way as he does. Okay, so then yeah, this is the thing that you get when you have you worked in backend or whatever. If the first in the first trial, if you everything goes wrong, something went wrong somewhere, and it is just waiting to wreck all hell down. Okay, so that is the bit about all those things. And now just as a small question from my side, do any one of you have any website hosted on the web? Guys? Guys?
Not yet, sir.
Okay. So are you aware of how to host it on a web? How to have the hosting, the domain, how to get a domain, where to get a domain, all those things?
Not clearly, sir.
Okay, good. Okay, so let me just go into that with a bit of a bit of all those things. Okay, so we have a lot of things to look at when we are actually doing a website professionally. So website or web app or whatever it is, so we need to have that thing which has a PHP environment and all those things, right? So you can actually host your static website. If it's just a front end, you can host it on your GitHub, but if it has backend, you will need to host it on some other thing. So you can't host a dynamic website, to be specific. A dynamic website you cannot host in GitHub and all those things. So where can you get all those things? How can you do it? And I'll just specify how we can. I'll just tell you some tips and some things I learned on the way. There's a site called freenom.com. If you guys are interested, please listen, because this is usually I haven't seen anyone specifying where we can get domains and all those things for free. Okay, so you just go in and up here and you just type like whatever you want, maybe say Venus, and you can check availability, and you'll see most of the things are not available. Let's look for a less popular thing. My web app 2021. Okay, as you can see, all these things you can get it for free. all of these domains. It is going to be mywebapp2021.tk, mywebapp2021.ml.ga.cf.gq. All those things you can get it for free. How to do that? Just click on get now, and they will ask you for how much, how much you'll need to sign in. Okay, you're not signed in, and you get that domain for free for 12 months. Okay, maximum 12 months you'll get. This is for free. Okay, for free you'll get your domain. So if you go and put in that particular domain name, you can redirect to any server you want. So that means you will have your own domain for free. You can simply create your portfolio website and all those things. Let me show you something that I have done. Okay, I I don't have a portfolio website of my own, but I've created portfolio websites for my friends. I'll just sign in into one of my Freenom accounts. Okay, and you can see all your domains here, right? So all these things are free. Okay, and for 1 year you get it for free. So I have this site called vivekjm.ml. I did it for my friend, and show you how it looks like. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, since I'm using Zoom also, I think it is a bit slow. It is supposed to load a bit faster. Yeah. Anyway, it's taking time. So the point is, you can host your own website. It is for free. It is there is, yeah, this is the thing. There is no hidden charges or anything like that. I got everything, all of this for free. Okay. So it is not really complete. I've done my part. He has to update a lot of content and all. So this is how you can do you can have your own portfolio websites. Okay, I never got the time to do my own. That's why I don't have one of my own. Okay, so this is how you can actually get a free domain from freenom.com, freenom.com. Yeah, this is the freenom.com. Okay, and you can sign in. Sign in is free again. Okay, so you can do that. If you want to get a free domain, okay, domain part is fine. So where can we actually I got the domain, everything is fine, pakka, great boss. So where do I get the space? Where do I host this stuff? That's a good question. And is it paid? Yes, it is called hosting, and hosting is paid, but you can get hostings for also free. Okay, so there is this thing called, if you are interested, please take a note of this. You're not gonna get this anywhere else. Okay, there is something called as infinity free web hosting. Okay, infinityfree.net. If you go into that, you'll see that you can see free unlimited web hosting. There are no hidden charges. There are nothing like that. There are restrictions, of course, since it's free, but yeah, you don't have to pay anything. You don't have to pay a single penny here. Okay, just click on sign up and just sign up and all those things. I'll show you how it looks like. I think I have one here too. Yep, I have it. Okay, so as you can see, I did some kind of a website. I think it's I did it for testing purpose or something. Okay, it's like, yeah, you can see there is a control panel. Once you are inside there, you'll be directed to a particular control panel, and this is how it looks like. Okay, so this is the control. If you click on this, it will come to this. This is a control panel, or what we call as a cPanel. Okay, cPanel hosting. So as you can see, these are the features of your cPanel. You can only have one FTP account. FTP account meaning you can upload your code into, you need to upload your code into a server, right? That particular thing you can do from offline itself, instead of logging into all these, using a FTP client. Okay, that FTP client can be, I usually use FileZilla. There are a lot of other things like WinSCP, lots of other things. Okay, and yeah, as you can see, you can have n number of subdomains, you can have n number of add-on domains, you can have n number of park domains. All those things are free. And bandwidth is actually unlimited. Okay, seriously, bandwidth is unlimited in this, and they won't charge you for anything. Okay, there are lots of other features that you won't get because this is a free hosting. Okay, you can create my, yeah, you saw that my PHP my admin in my local, right? This one. Okay, this one you saw, right? The same thing, they have it there, but it's on the server. Okay, so yeah, so no database. Okay, you can I need to create a database before I access that PHP admin. Yeah, you can go to my SQL databases and create one database. Let's just try one out now. Okay, I'm going to say test, and I'm going to create database. It's going to ask me something. No, right? Okay, so if I come into this admin thing, it will show me all the things I need. It's loading. Since it's a free, it's going to be slow, and all those things are there. Yeah, you got that SQL thing, right? I mean, MySQL, PHP MyAdmin panel, the same thing that we did there. Yeah, so you can easily for free you can register your domain, no, you can get your hosting for free up here, upload all your things, and uh, you do things, voila. This is how you get a free hosting. And the next question is, I got my domain, I got my hosting, how do I connect my domain and my hosting? Okay, this is a big question. How do you connect your domain and your hosting? That is a big question. So how you do it is like, you first need to find your name servers. Okay, particularly speaking, I can show you where it is. Come up here. This are your name servers, to be specific. You can go into more account details and you'll get it. Okay, yeah, these two DNS name servers. Okay, these two are your name servers. In my case, it is ns1epzy.com and ns2epzy.com. Okay, so what you need to do to map your domain to, sorry, okay, sorry for that. Okay, and you go into my domains, and then there is something called, I'll show you, manage domain. Click manage domain, and inside manage domain you'll have something to specify this DNS address. Okay, sorry about the background disturbance. There is a small other meeting going on, that is why you're hearing all this chatter. Okay, it is taking time to load anyway. Okay, yeah, once this panel opens up, there is one thing. Let me see if I can get it one more time. Okay, there is maybe some small network issues, stuff like that. Yeah, I think there's a small network issue. The thing is, it's easy. Just go into manage domain, and there you can see name servers. Inside that name servers, you just need to specify these two name servers. That's all. Okay, just specify the particular name server there, and it will be all right and fine. Okay, okay. Yeah, so that's a bit about that. And then this is how you connect all your database, where you can get the database, how you can do it, and all those things. And just, I'm going to just stop sharing. I'll leave something in the chat. Okay, so there is this, if you guys want to try it out, let me just share my screen for one more time. Okay, if you guys just want to try this out, okay, like this is the particular thing you can have. I'm just going to take it down. Yeah, can you just hold on just a second? Yeah, hello. I hope everyone can hear me, right? Yeah, sorry for that particular, disturbance. Okay, so this is the, the credentials that I just put it out. This is for the FTP, and this is for the second one is for the, what to say, the second one is for the database. Okay, so if you just guys want to try out anything, this is that particular test.creativecuckoo.com. This is the domain that will reflect all your changes. Okay, the software that I just showed you, that is FileZilla. In FileZilla, you can go ahead and you can punch in the details that I just put in the chat, the first details. All those are the first things are for the FTP, the second ones are for the database. So the first details, if you put in FileZilla, you can upload files into that directory, and well, yeah, that's what you can do. And yep. So guys, do you have any doubts? Hello.
No, sir, it was okay.
Okay, so if you guys want to try out the database, you'll have to have to ping me or something, because without that I will not be. I need to allow your IP into my server, so that is the reason. Stating that, and yep, and then yeah. So where can you find resources? Where can you get? I told you about all those other resources, right? So what about taking up a course? Can someone tell me what is the problem with this particular ad that I'm sharing my screen? Can anyone tell me the problem of this ad? Hello guys. Come on. Hello. Yes, everyone is sleeping. Okay. Okay, you guys find no issues with this particular ad that I just saw this thing on Facebook the other day. I just took a screenshot and kept it. What's the issue with this ad, guys? Guys, come on.
Is 60 days enough for?
Nope, that is not the problem. Did you see the topics that are there specified on the right?
Yeah.
Is there something wrong with that? They were given the third topic as JavaScript, right? And they were given the logo of Java.
Yeah.
Okay, so if this is the course that I mean, these kind of courses, if you're going to take, eventually there is no point in taking these courses. Okay, so my advice to you is, if you are trying to be a web developer, backend or front end or whatever, don't pay for your courses. Every month Udemy gives out free courses. Okay, Udemy gives out for a limited period of time, maybe for 1 day or 2 days. Just subscribe. That annoying mail that we all unsubscribe from, right? They actually post their free stuff there. So for Udemy, every month at least 1 or 2 courses, totally, if you enroll in those 2 days, you can get it for free. And lots of other resources. We have all those YouTube channels. If you want actual material to refer to, W3 Schools is a great place you can refer to. Okay, so that is just my advice on where you can find resources. And I told you all those infinity free, where you can get free hosting. I told you where you can get your free domains and all those things, right? Yep. So any questions, anything you want to ask me, any suggestions, anything you want to share with me? Guys, anything? Okay, I guess there is no questions or anything. Okay, so yeah. Arigato gozaimashita. That means thank you in Japanese. So if you guys don't have anything else, any questions, guys? Anything?
Sir, for learning the backend, the PHP side, is W3 schools and Udemy courses are enough, or any other platform are there?
Yep, more than enough PHP for learning PHP. Those two are more than enough, especially when you're doing web applications. If you're still interested, to learn, from other resources, if you can mail me, I can provide you with some courses from Udacity or something like that, if you want.
Oh, yeah, sure. Can you provide the mail ID, please?
It is. I'll put it in the chat.
Yeah.
Okay, is there any other questions or anything? Any doubts? Okay. Any doubts? Anything, guys? Okay, no doubts. Okay. Okay, so can we wind up if no one has any doubts or anything? Joanne? Hello, am I audible?
Yes, so I think if there are no doubts, we can wind up.
Okay.
Sir, there is a question in the chat box.
Okay, so yeah, front-end development and web dev, the same thing. No, not actually. It is not same. It is from Veena, right? Okay. So it is not the same. I told you the front end development is mainly, we did both front end and back end when we did those two pages, right? Okay. The front end refers to all those HTML things and all that. Back end refers to that PHP code that we did. So they are different, totally different. Okay. Does that clear your doubt, Veena? Sorry, I didn't see your chat earlier.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? Okay, so any questions or anything? Nothing? Okay. Yeah, so shall we wind up if there is nothing more?
Sri Vidya.
Joanne, so are we waiting for anything?
Sri Vidya was about to tell the vote of thanks. I think her audio has some problem.
Oh, okay.
I think her audio is having some problem.
Okay,
So we
so
wind
we'll
up.
skip that.
Thank you for the session. Oh,
Yeah, sure.
okay.
Thank you.
All can leave the Zoom meeting. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. It was a really wonderful session.
Thank you, Anjali.